Welcome to Jags Drive Time with Ashlyn Sullivan, John Oehser, and Brian Sexton. Jags Drive Time starts right now.
I could be a half-empty guy, but I was kind of fearful, like, my God, what if we go again? But the one thing about Trevor, he's played decent, all three games. Preseason was fairly new to me, and I learned along the way. So I would judge our preseason. It's a success right now. There's a lot of energy in the locker room. We got 2 weeks to get the strongest version of ourselves. I expect they're going to have 4 days off this week. That's also new to me. So we got to be in great, you can be, if you do those 4 days right, and I'm not talking lay on your butt, but get strong, and we can come back stronger than you were before training camp, which my expectations are that.
The head coach praising his rookie quarterback after a win over the Dallas Cowboys in the third preseason game. Trevor Lawrence, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns, 154 passer rating. We have seen enough. Starting quarterback. On to the regular season. It's kind of sort of Victory Monday here on Jaguars Drive Time.
Are you kidding? Winning, Brian. Winning.
Yeah.
It's always important to win, they say.
Well, I'm usually not a big preseason guy.
We know.
Doing this long enough. But they had not won anything
since opening day
last year, so that was 17 in a row. I think it did matter for the young guys, not on any sort of level. It's not going to matter in October, but for right now, I did think it was important for Trevor to play well, for them, for the other, maybe not even for him, but for everybody else to sort of see, meaning players, coaches. Okay, that's what this kid is.
Mm-hmm. Well, two things. One, when he sat down in the press conference afterwards, he looked like he was back in familiar territory, right? I mean, he never had to come into a post-game locker room except, twice in his career and talk about losing. And the other is a belief level, right? I mean, because there's been all this talk about Urban Meyer, the system, and they didn't have anything to back it up. And even though it's a preseason game, right? Last week, Pete Prisco wrote the article that there was grumbling and there was a loss and they didn't look good. Coach wasn't happy. People were analyzing his body language. To be able to have something, even a small step forward, it creates a level of belief. Okay, This is what we have to do to get to where we want to go.
Yeah, you needed it. And now you look forward to the regular season, and I have people saying, okay, well, they have to win week 1 because they have to believe they need that momentum. So we're going to talk about that now, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. You had this preseason win. Now it's on to the regular season. I don't think it's a win all.
The momentum is individual.
Yeah.
It's for each individual player how he feels going forward into the season. If he's confident in the way that he performed, or if he has to work on certain things, it's an individual thing. Momentum is not a team thing when you move from August to September.
I hate to be the guy who always pours water on everything, Ashlyn.
Here we go.
Coffee in this guy. But it's really, really important to win week 1. And then you know what happens next? It's really important to win week 2.
Win week 2.
So, I mean, it's critically important to go in that Houston game. And then if you don't, it becomes critically important to go in the next week.
The Denver game, right?
But but within the context of their schedule, I don't think it's naive to think that it's not important to get a really early start, a really good early start, because they've got 4 games that on paper, okay,
right,
and then you've got 6 that on paper are wow. So
yeah,
I'm not going to be disingenuous and think that the beginning of the season is not really, really important for this team.
Well, I mean, you got 4 that give you a chance in each game, and then you've got the Titans here, and then you've got the Dolphins in London, right? And then you've got a 7-game stretch of wow.
Right.
I mean,
you've got a stretch where even if you're a lot better and playing well,
yeah, you got a handful.
It's going to be tough. Early on, it looks like if you're playing well, you can get them.
And it give you a chance to try to finish the season strong, which is what
Absolutely.
you're looking for. This as the season comes to a close.
Always a good direction to go in.
Yeah, better than this.
All right, let's get into big things. Big thing 1 is tempo. The offense clicked. It started faster. Fast pace, that's what Coach Meyer wanted. Offense used a lot of what Trevor Lawrence did at Clemson to get him more comfortable, and James O'Shaughnessy told us this offense was going to click eventually.
Well, I think we've been heading in the right direction. I know it hasn't always been seen in the preseason, but I think most people understand that preseason is an odd time for offenses where you're only showing so much. You're protecting people from injury. You have people getting injured in camp. It can just be a difficult time for continuity within an offense. And I've been a part of some playoff teams that went 0-4 in preseason, and I've been part part of teams that were losing teams that went 4-0 in preseason. So to me, it's a tough thing to judge. As long as you trust that we have the right system in place and the right mechanism to make sure it's heading in the right direction. I think everybody believed that. So I think we just kept our head down, kept focused, and kept getting better, and that was the key.
All right, let's switch to defense. Big thing, too, is toughness. This run defense, what was a major issue for 2.5 seasons, now almost looks like a strong suit, at least in the preseason. They look ready to go for the regular season, holding the Cowboys to under 80 yards rushing. So we'll talk lots about that. Big thing 3 is the to-do list. A big week. Lots going on. You're going to cut down a roster. You're going to get ready for the Houston Texans in week 1. But first, the Jaguars will have to release 37 players by 4 p.m. on Tuesday, something Trevor Lawrence is not used to.
It's different. Not used to it. You build relationships with guys, and it just sucks, seeing guys go. It's just the nature of the business. You can't keep everybody, and guys, there's certain situations that are better for them and the team. You just never know. So we had a receiver come in, Devin Smith, today. I think he got here yesterday and dove and made that 60-yard catch I think it was in the first half. I mean, just stuff like that is crazy. He just got here, goes out there, runs a go, catches a 60-yard pass. Stuff like that is just so weird. You don't get used to it, but I really like the group we have. It sucks that we got to cut the team down. I don't know. Obviously, I don't make those decisions. I'm glad I don't, because we got a lot of guys that deserve to be on this team, and it's just tough. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, and that is big things. And I know it's preseason, and I know the Cowboys do not play a lot of starters, but the Jaguars needed that win. We will go out and say that in the run defense. It solidified it.
Yeah, the run defense, and I'll hold off because my hot take is about the run defense. Just to watch Devon Hamilton push the pocket and dominate the point of attack, that's a really good sign. When you have a 3-4 scheme, you have to have a strong guy on the nose. I mean, you remember when Joel Steed was the man in Pittsburgh for those great Steelers defense. It's the apex. Everything starts right there. For Joe Cullen to be able to come in and have somebody that he can put in there and not try to mask it or figure ways around it until you find that guy, it creates a lot of flexibility for him. It's a good start.
Well, you guys know me. I'm not sold on the run defense, only because it is such a position of stamina and it's such a position of depth. I am sold that they are really good up front on first and second down when they are healthy with Brown, Hamilton, and Roy Robertson-Harris.
You're saying if someone gets hurt,
what's next as you get to the third and fourth quarter with these guys? But all they have shown so far is that they are much improved within the context of what they could do. And I think as importantly as anything, we keep on talking about setting tones. I do believe what's very important is that this team is going into the season with the guys up front believing for the first time in a long time that they can stop people. And that was priority 1 for the preseason. So mission accomplished. And now let's see what's next.
The linebackers, Damian Wilson, and to have a guy like Shaq Quarterman that you can plug in there. You've got a little more depth than I thought when they started training camp. Guys who are good pluggers, first and second down guys. Health is always an issue. Offensive line, defensive line. The scheme and the players that they've brought in this year will make a dramatic difference in this run defense.
All right, let's go to big thing 3 quickly, releasing 37 players by tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm stressed about the wide receivers. I know it's been my thing all preseason.
Are you making the cut?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still stressed. I mean, how are you going to decide this? Truthfully. You got 5 guys for 2 spots, and you can make an argument for all of them.
How many are we keeping?
7.
7? Well, so you've got the top 3.
Right.
And then Dorsett, I think, makes it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he showed the speed.
Those are the 4 that I think are locks.
Would you think it's crazy if they kept Devin Smith?
No. Look what he showed yesterday.
I just want to say it's just speed is all. Because they lack explosiveness and speed. Despite all the efforts they brought to the table to try to improve, that one route that he ran yesterday showed you what he's capable of doing, and it's something you don't have. I mean, when you get DJ Chark on the field, yes. but you don't have size and speed together like he showed you yesterday. I might try to find a way to keep that.
Yeah, and your question is, did you see enough? Is that enough? That one play, that one game?
It was for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that's my question with the coaching staff. And then Colin Johnson, did you keep him? He has that size that no one else has. I'm telling you,
but the speed is lacking. Size without speed in this game doesn't get you where you want to go.
And in this scheme,
yeah,
it's this is a speed-centric bunch. So I think they keep speed over size.
All right, fair. Are you concerned about, not concerned, but are you looking at any other positions? Like I am concerned about the wide receivers.
Not really, because I guess, Brian, I'm just always of the belief that the top 40 guys are who you win with.
Sure.
And I'm not diminishing what we saw at wide receiver. I've just seen so often. I love Hammond. He has performed during preseason. I believe he and somebody else will be on the practice squad.
I think Jeff Cotton Jr. has to get a shot at that, right?
Yes.
All he's done
Both
is
of those guys
yeah.
I'd put in the same boat. I guess the reason I don't worry as much as I used to, or
Are you losing sleep over?
You guys are all stressed out
I am
today.
stressed. Because the reality right now is the 53-man roster that they release on Tuesday is not what it used to be 10 or 15 years ago, because you have 6 practice squad guys who are veterans. You have 16 more slots. Right. I would expect 16 guys in the practice squad, 12 of them to matter this year for the Jags.
Sure.
Yep.
So it's really not, if they release Smith and put him on the practice squad, he was just available, so he's probably going to be around. So
Yep.
I look at it more as a 69-player roster now than it was. So again, I'm being contrarian.
They also have the first pick. They also have the first pick on the waiver wire for a couple weeks. I would say running back only because you've got power, and no breakaway speed, no change of direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, change of pace kind of back without Travis Etienne.
Yep.
That may be someone they grab on the waiver wire. Not worried about it. I mean, I love to play the power game, and so does Urban Meyer. But you like to have one of those guys you can do some different things with, and I don't see that guy on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 5 or 6 waiver wire acquisitions between now and the regular season,
which should be as many as we've seen around here.
Yeah.
in a long time.
So
you might as well use it to your advantage.
a lot of the guys we're talking about will not be here, and there'll be other guys in these spots that we don't even know about yet. So stay tuned, Shalyn.
Stay tuned. I will try to relax until then. When we come back on Jaguars Drive Time, some highlights from yesterday's preseason win over the Dallas Cowboys right here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by TIAA Bank. Created to serve, built to perform. By Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
It's a fact. All cars will eventually break down. If you have CarShield, you can protect yourself from the high cost of auto repairs. And they're America's #1 auto protection company. Your transmission, engine, and car's computer system are all covered. Get the ultimate vehicle service protection. Call CarShield now at 800-471-1223. That's 800-471-1223.
Hi folks, Frank Frangie here to tell you where to find the most authentic Southern Pit barbecue in all of Jacksonville. That's right, Bono's. For 72 years, Bono's has been smoking real pit barbecue right here on the First Coast. Smoked for hours, served in minutes, and always cut to order. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at TIAA Bank Field. Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you want great barbecue, head to Bono's today. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
At ViStar, we believe in better convenience, so members can bank any way they want, whether it's at a branch, on a mobile device, or at one of more than 20,000 surcharge-free ATMs across North America. Because we believe that people have better things to do with their time. If you believe that convenience is better, join ViStar. Visit ViStarCU.org. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
We're back, Jaguars Drive Time. Call CarShield now. If your car is out of manufacturer's warranty, don't get stuck with expensive mechanical and computer repairs. Call CarShield. We're back, Jaguars Drive Time. Some highlights from yesterday's preseason win over the Dallas Cowboys, and Coach Meyer has told us the past all of preseason, we got to start faster on offense. Well, this is a great example of how you do that on the very first drive.
Lawrence going deep down the sideline. And inside the 25-yard line. Oh. Wide open down the sideline. That's Pharaoh Cooper. And
a 38-yard first down to Philip Dorsett, followed by a touchdown to Pharaoh Cooper. And we were talking to Pharaoh Cooper postgame, and he said that he thought in that moment, okay, this is Trevor Lawrence's first NFL touchdown. I really can't drop this, or I'm going to be that guy known forever.
He had a pretty good game on punt returns, too.
He did.
Yeah, had a 19-yard return on the first Cowboys punt. Good day for him. I think he's one of those guys that is a practice squad guy.
Yeah. I think he's one of those guys, as many of these guys, people will look at the 53 and say, oh, this guy got cut and everything. And then in October, he's making a play for you and somebody's injured. That's the nature of the releases. Let me say something. I got a lot of emails about, well, it looked good, but it was preseason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, and they were playing a team of guys that probably will not be on that Cowboys roster. That said, the throw that Trevor made, the 38-yarder to Philip Dorsett, it doesn't matter what the defense was. It was a throw that most guys don't make, a perfectly thrown ball right where it needed to be. I think that works against most teams. So there's stuff that you sort of discount when you're playing guys that wouldn't be on the field. That one I don't think you discount. That was a real NFL throw.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I thought that his comfort level, and they went back to it, right? I mean, they went back to more in the shotgun. I think there was one snap, two maybe, under center. From him, the rest of the time was the bubble screen and the quick rollout. He just got into a rhythm. You could just see it. And Coach Meyer said in the postgame show last night, yeah, I mean, those are things we knew he did well. So he always, quoting him now, we're always going to do what a player does well.
Right.
So it got him going.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of talk last week, Ashlyn, you know,
oh, my word,
buzz. About him comparing him to other quarterbacks. It was all this way too early stuff.
Yeah.
You can't fake what we saw on the field during training camp.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fake those moments. I don't know how he's going to be this year. I don't know what the numbers are going to be. I don't know if he's going to be Rookie of the Year. There's no question in my mind that at some point he's going to be really, really good because of what we've been around a long time. You don't see that many throws, the back shoulder, whatever it was to Dorsett. He does that once a day in practice.
He's the real deal.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. How you look at Justin Herbert and the numbers that Herbert put up last year, but I mean, Herbert had some big-time wide receivers on the field last year. I mean, do we know we've got that in Jacksonville to help him out? I don't know. I mean, we're going to find out. He'll make all the throws. Will they make all the catches? Will they turn those catches into touchdowns? We'll find out. But there's no doubt. You can't watch this kid and say he's anything but the real deal.
Mm-hmm. One guy that's going to help him is Laviska Shenault for sure,
no
which
doubt.
Is our next highlight. Trevor Lawrence wanted those reps. They almost didn't play him with 4 offensive linemen out, but this will get people excited when you see this connection to Laviska Shenault.
23-yard line, Dallas into the field. Lawrence goes into his second quarter of work, and that is Laviska Shenault, their second-round pick last year out of DeSoto High School and the University of Colorado, and that guy can bring it as he showed it right there. Coming out of high school in the Atlanta area. Corner of the end zone, and it is the Trevor Lawrence and Laviska Shenault drive there for Jacksonville.
It was funny. I was standing next to Brent Martineau, who was doing sidelines for the preseason broadcast with you and Bucky, and they had an interview with Laviska, and he's like, I'm surprised you guys asked me. I only made a couple plays. And it's like, yeah, well, when you make plays like this, you're going to get interviewed.
Well, I mean, this play's nice, but it was the run through all those defenders. My question is, and that's his style of play. That was the way he was at Colorado. He's certainly built for it. When you stand next to him, you can see that. But in this league, that style doesn't work 16, 17 games, you know?
Very true.
You're going to have to pick and choose when you do that with him. Mm-hmm. But he's a guy who is powerful and will certainly move the chains.
He's almost a fullback playing running back.
Yeah.
And he's better than a fullback playing running back, don't get me wrong. Again, the throw to Laviska right there, does that work if there's an elite level corner there? I don't know, but it's the right throw, and it's the right read, and it's in the right spot.
The ball was only where Laviska could get it.
Yeah, so, again, I think you saw a lot of things. I don't think Trevor would have been 11 of 12 against the first-team defense. but he would have been very, very good. And I got a lot of questions, Shalyn, about are they as good as they were Sunday, or are they as bad as they were early in the preseason?
You know the answer.
The reality with this team is they are not going to be an elite team, but they were much, much better than they were in the first 2 games. And I think they're somewhere in the middle of what we've seen.
They will have moments this year where you'll say, wow. And then they'll have moments where you say, whoa, what is that? I mean, that's just the nature of this thing this year. They were 1-15 last year. They've got a new coach, a new quarterback. It's going to take some time. But with this quarterback, people will be patient because they understand what they see.
Totally agree. Okay, this is crazy. We heard Trevor Lawrence talk about this in Big Things, this huge play from a guy who joined the team on Saturday. Coach Meyer shook his hand for the first time in the pregame meal. Devin Smith made a play that might get him a roster spot.
Catch the ball, but the quarterback's not ready to throw the ball. So that's what makes it a great job. Both of them have patience. Oh,
C.J. Beathard deep downfield.
So it was reviewed for a while. Definitely a catch. And we go back to this wide receiver. I don't know how they're going to decide this, but this is the definition of showing up and making a play.
He's a second-round pick, right? I mean, this was a guy who had the physical traits coming out of Ohio State that the Jets made him a second-round pick. For whatever reason, it didn't work, but that's where the familiarity comes in with Meyer, that he gives him a shot, and then he goes and does that.
Right.
But it wasn't the catch, although the catch was impressive. It was the speed that he showed.
Yes, and he
John is in awe watching this.
Well, this is what you do when you weren't good the year before.
You take chances.
They brought in Devin Smith. They brought in Laquan Treadwell. They brought in Tavon Austin. Even Philip Dorsett to a degree. A lot of ex-first-round guys. Dorsett probably doesn't fit quite into that because he was a free agent. But you bring him in. You see what you got. You see what they've got left. If you bring in, 15 guys like that and you get 2, so be it. And you keep on improving the bottom of the roster until you can't improve it anymore.
And you're not looking for all pros. I mean, you're looking for guys that make plays that help the quarterback. If they give you a bigger season, good for you, but you're looking for guys that upgrade your talent today until you can go get that young star receiver that you're looking for.
Totally agree. Those are some highlights from the Jaguars' preseason win over the Cowboys. When we come back, some hot takes right here on Jaguars Drive Time.
Jags Drive Time is presented in part by Dreamfinders Homes, homes that fit your lifestyle, and Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good.
It's a fact. All cars will eventually break down. If you have CarShield, you can protect yourself from the high cost of auto repairs. And they're America's #1 auto protection company. Your transmission, engine, and car's computer system are all covered. Get the ultimate vehicle service protection. Call CarShield now at 800-471-1223. That's 800-471-1223.
Your family isn't like anyone else's. Your home shouldn't be either. At Dreamfinders Homes, you can build the home of your dreams in one of their 30-plus communities in Northeast Florida. Choose from luxury single-family homes or maintenance-free townhomes from the 200s. Dreamfinders specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. To find out more, call 904-738-0165 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Yeah, that was tough, man. That was he became. I mean, I was a little choked up when I saw him in that office, and I walk in, and I didn't know him at all. I didn't start off on the best of terms because I'm not sure how much he wanted to be here. And I get it. First overall pick, and he's a competitive maniac, that guy, and I get it. And I told him the rest of his life, count me as a big fan, because he's what you want. He's a warrior. He's a competitor.
Head coach Urban Meyer on the trade that went down over the weekend. Gardner Minshew to the Philadelphia Eagles went down when we were on the plane to Dallas. Thank goodness I bought the flight Wi-Fi, or else I wouldn't have known. But what do we think about this trade? I think it makes sense for all parties involved.
Well, it's my hot take, so should we get to that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hot take. C.J. Beathard, I think, deserves credit for making the right decision easy.
Yes.
Because he outplayed Minshew. And credit, I think, to Trent Baalke and Urban Meyer, who brought C.J. Beathard in. And throughout OTAs, everybody's saying, oh, C.J. Beathard's horrible. Gardner Minshew's outplaying him. Well, it didn't turn out that way. And it was to C.J. Beathard's credit because he came in, did the things offensively they wanted to do. How do I feel about the trade? I think Urban Meyer expressed what the reality of the NFL. I have no doubt that Urban Meyer wishes in his core that Gardner Minshew was a big-time NFL quarterback because he is a competitive maniac, all that stuff, but he's just not an elite-level guy, and he's not the right guy in this situation.
Well, they can't make all the throws.
Right. So you want him to be good. The city of Jacksonville felt that.
Oh, sure.
You wanted this guy to be good.
Easy to root for.
Jorts and the maniac, and he's a Minshew mania, all that. But once it translated to the field and teams figured him out, then it was just sort of Minshew.
If he had an arm, he would have been a second-round pick.
And a rock star.
Yeah, absolutely. But he couldn't. You saw the throw that he made right before the half that was intercepted on the deep ball. He just and some deep throws down the field where he just doesn't have the arm strength for it.
You want him to be good.
Absolutely, because you like
and
him.
He's just who he is right now.
Well, he would have been amazing if he had an arm. Of course, he would have been a second-round pick at that point. So,
very true.
Here's my sense. When I sat with Coach Meyer when we did the broadcast production meetings, I got the sense that they believed he could be a solid backup in the league, but Beathard was coming hard. I mean, his arm strength against the Browns showed it right there. Then they believed they could get a draft pick for him. I didn't think they could get a draft pick for him. I didn't. I mean, 1-7 last year, you saw they benched him here, right? I didn't think they'd get a draft pick. They got a 6. Could be a 5 if he plays. Congratulations, good for him. He gets another chance. He goes to a great football city. But the Jaguars have Trevor Lawrence, so Minshew mania goes into the annals of history in Jacksonville.
But again, back to my hot take. In OTAs, people
I was one of them.
Absolutely just thinking Beathard was awful. And
because he didn't look good in OTAs.
No,
we
he
can
didn't.
agree that.
But what he did during OTAs and what he did during training camp, he was making the throws that you have to make in the NFL.
You got to have the arm.
Gardner sometimes does not do that. No. So that was the difference in the two plays.
It didn't translate. And our biggest question was, can Gardner do it when the lights go on, when it counts? Because he did look better than Beathard in OTAs. Well, it was clear as day when the lights came on.
OTAs.
I know, but
on the field playing in a game. There's the difference right there.
Frankly, I was surprised. I've never been overly high on Minshew. I think people who watch the show know that.
Right.
NFL quarterback-wise, I just don't feel like the skill set is there. But I was also surprised that he played as poorly during the preseason as he did. He had been better in the past, and he was not very good in those 2 games.
That throw in the red zone in New Orleans that was intercepted, you just can't.
It was the cap.
You have to know. You don't need to throw that. You just take the sack because you want the points.
Right.
You can't do that.
Totally agree.
That is the massive competitor on steroids where it goes way too far. I'm going to force this one in there. He doesn't have the arm like Luton does. Luton fired that one to Tyler Davis in the end zone here against the Browns. Minshew can't make the throw, right? Do what you can do. Trevor Lawrence, let's move on. Enough of the backup quarterback. We won't mention C.J. Beathard again.
Well, maybe once or twice.
I hope not.
And speaking of steroids, I believe you have a hot take.
What is that transition?
Yeah, I don't quite know what to say about that. I do have a hot take. And my hot take is that the run defense will hold opponents to 4 yards a carry. So they gave up 4.7. We're near the bottom of the league last year, 153 yards per game. Anything below 3.9 is elite, right? I mean, that is championship caliber run defense. They're not there. But 0.7 of a yard makes a huge difference because the Jaguars will be able to force teams to throw the ball, which they couldn't do last year. It's only 0.7 of a yard improvement, but it is massive in terms of how the Jaguars can play defense. And from what I've seen, that is entirely possible. They have done it consistently through 3 games. You know what you see from Trevor Lawrence on the field, and you know what he's capable of. I saw enough from the run defense in its different iterations, different people against different teams, to know that they'll be able to stop the run much better this year.
And here's the key to this. Stopping the run does not automatically mean you are a good team. But you cannot be a good team if you don't.
You don't give yourself
a
chance.
So this team now has a chance to start competing. If you can't stop it, you can't compete.
Well, if you can't stop the run, then you can't run the ball. And the coach said he wants to run the ball.
Plus,
because you find yourself in a hole and you're throwing.
If you can't stop it, teams will never bother to
Never
pass on
bother,
you.
right.
Nope.
So why have pass rushers that you pay a lot of money to?
You're figuring it out.
You think after 27 years?
I think so.
Thanks.
I think you're there.
I appreciate that.
All right. Gotta love kicking drama on a Monday morning. My hot take is that Josh Lambo has passed the test, but the test is not over. He passed it yesterday. We all heard head coach Urban Meyer in his press conference last week say, yeah, make the field goal, bluntly. Okay, Josh Lambo made the field goals yesterday. Coach Meyer praised him in postgame. I don't think this test is over, though. I don't think that Urban Meyer trusts Josh Lambo 100%. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they bring another kicker in here to compete with him at practice. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I think Josh Lambo has some work to do. He got a step closer yesterday, but pay attention to this. This, I don't think, is solidified quite yet.
I think he really, really wants to trust Josh Lambo. I think Josh Lambo, throughout the course of his Jaguars career, has done enough to be trusted. But within the time frame that Meyer has watched him, you know, he had 2 misses from 40 to 50 in the first 2 games. Meyer would be disingenuous to come out and say, I absolutely trust him when I've seen this. But Urban's interesting to read in press conferences. I asked the question about the specialist. He praised Josh Lambo and went out of his way to praise Josh Lambo on the answer. To me, that shows that, yes, he passed the test, and he's believing in him more.
There were
But I'm
times.
with you. It's a shorter leash, I think, than fans would expect, considering Lambo's history here.
There were times on the practice field this summer where the coach would go stand next to him before he'd make a kick, and you could tell that made him
Just about every time.
Yeah, that made Josh nervous. So he's pushed. It's kind of good cop, bad cop was kind of my sense of that. Here's my question: is it a hip or
who was the good cop?
Well, Urban was both.
Right. Okay. All right.
He's bad cop during training camp, and then he was good cop yesterday.
Fair.
Is it a hip or a yip? Right. I mean, in other words, does he have a case of the yips? You know, where you're just pulling it, just like when you're on the golf course and you're putting and you can't quite hit it, or is it that hip injury that's still giving him trouble? I know that he went and worked with some specialists, some special physical therapy folks in the offseason to get himself to a point where he'd be able to be consistent and to trust it. But it looks to me like he may not trust it, or he may not be healthy. So I don't know whether this is just him because the coach is standing next to him in practice and he's yipping, or if it's the hip. We'll find out.
We will find out, but we know it's one step closer.
When he's good, he's really, really good.
Yes, he is. Very consistent. All right, when we come back on Jaguars Drive Time, some closing thoughts here on the Jaguars Digital Network.
That sound is every driver's worst fear. How much will the repairs cost? Is it your engine, your transmission, or worse? A car breakdown could cost you thousands to repair, but not if you have CarShield. CarShield administrators pay your claims directly to the mechanic or dealer of your choice, saving you time and money. Call CarShield today before your next breakdown. Call 800-471-1223, 800-471-1223.
Pinpoint, the official signage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, helps business decision makers like you maximize the impact of their brand. Your company's identification, advertising, and even the words you use make an impression on your clients. With Pinpoint as your coach, you can make sure it's a good impression. Pinpoint provides the creative design and production services for anything you need to enhance your brand, from custom signage to complete marketing solutions. Step up your game with Pinpoint and create the ultimate brand experience for your clients. Visit experiencepinpoint.com.
At ViStar, we believe in better. And what's better than saving up to $5,000 in closing costs when you buy or refinance a home? With a ViStar no closing costs mortgage, you'll get a great rate, no hidden fees, and like the name says, no closing costs up to $5,000. If you believe saving money is better, join ViStar. Equal housing opportunity, insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Offer not available on VA and FHA mortgages. For more information, visit vistarcu.org.
We're back, Jaguars Drive Time, Monday morning after a preseason win in Dallas, Texas.
Be a half-empty guy, but I was kind of fearful.
Head Coach Urban Meyer joining the show. Thanks, Coach. Cut down day tomorrow, 4 p.m. The roster needs to be finalized. We will talk about that on Jaguars Drive Time Wednesday morning. Stay tuned. Jaguars Happy Hour this afternoon at 4 o'clock. We will see you this week right here on Jaguars Drive Time.